People call it nigger glitter. Like, and parsley is...
Parsley is nigger glitter?
Yeah, like... yeah, people call parsley nigger glitter. And because you tend to, if you look at a lot of... They're going to finish every dish with that. Like, or you could take time out and French your chicken so it's a French lollipop, dip it in the sauce, plate it a certain type of way, and send it out. And now the same dish that I probably grew up eating, as in probably a fried chicken leg, I'm now eating almost sophisticated. I'm holding the chicken lollipop like, oh man, this is different. But I'm making you feel comfortable, and I'm not going away from who I am.
The Touré show. Okay though. The Touré show. Okay though.
That might be the best question I've ever been asked.
You're a phenomenal person. I mean, you legendary.
I am a fan of you, my brother.
Tobias Dorzon is an amazing chef who used to be in the NFL. We have an awesome conversation about what it means to be a running back in the league and what it means to be a great fine dining culinary school educated chef. Let's get into it. It's Tobias Dorzon on Touré Show. So wait, you were a pretty good running back.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, Jackson State.
For sure.
Made it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What kind of running back were you? Were you a guy, because it seems like there's guys who are fast and run away from everybody, and there's guys who are big and tough and will run over people.
Yeah, so I was, because I'm short structure, but I was still 230 pounds at that point.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
You were 5'7", 230.
Yeah, at one point,
so
I got up to
so much
234.
muscle.
Yeah. So I was fast as well, but I was more the back that because people thought I was short, I was going to run away. And most of the time, when you thought I was running away, I was really trying to conflict the pain. So I was really the one trying to run guys over all the time. You want to run
through people.
Yeah. I wanted to run through people. I was that type of back. Still fast once you got in open field, but I had a big problem in catching.
But you like to initiate contact.
For sure.
Because some offensive players will run out of bounds, run away, try not to get touched. You're like, let's do this.
I think because when I came up in football, it was a thing to inflict pain.
You liked that.
I liked running people over. I wanted to feel like, because the more you do that, even from little leagues, you inflict the pain early throughout the game. Nobody wants to tackle you no more. Now these hard plays turn easy because the guy that would have came up from the safety position earlier in the first quarter is already like, nah, you know what? I'm cool. So that little gap right there now gives me a space to now use my speed and get away. Where in the new game, it's kind of hard to really be that running back with so many guys being so advanced on defense, hitting so hard. You put that type of pain on your body, you're not gonna make it that long. Like the lifespan of a
running back is short.
Of a running back is 1 to 4 years.
So wait, but you said you weren't great at catching.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't the catcher. And when I was playing, I wasn't the catcher. I was more along the lines of hand me the ball.
Hand me the ball, I will run through the closest hole.
The closest hole, I'm gonna hit it as hard as I can, and I'm gonna hit it as hard as I can, and I'm gonna try to make the first person miss. If it's an opportunity where I feel like coming out of the hole, I have the opportunity to inflict some pain, I'm gonna be the bruiser rather than be the person to take on the hit.
You want to put your shoulder in their nose? That's what you want to do?
Yeah, I want to drop my shoulder. Yeah, Hopefully, I'm dropping my shoulder against their shoulder if they're tackling the right way.
But you don't want to put your shoulder on their shoulder or in their face?
In their face, shoulder, like in this realm. If they're tackling with their face mask, they're going to be face.
Because you can't put your
crown,
your helmet in there.
No, I can't put my helmet in there because that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
With like so many concussions, and I can't imagine how many concussions I played with back in. But yeah, like even from high school, like when I sit and think of what people consider concussions now, like I've had a concussion from flag football later, like down the line. So where NFL and everybody else has now put more emphasis on concussions, and I know what it felt like. So I'm just going back to even like my high school days where I would get tackled and I would be seeing like 3 people in my like in my eyesight, and I'm really just thinking like, I'm gonna shake it off because I may get the ball next play or I may have to block. And it's crazy because I think about like how much pain people inflicted on their bodies before all these rules came into place. Like, I'm big on the protecting players and keeping the game the same way, but playing football helped me realize how much my body was like actually taking a day in, day out.
Are you in pain right now?
No, not at all. And I didn't play football long enough. When I got to Canada, it was when I really realized, like, this can do me more pain down the line than it can do me right now trying to get a check for $150,000 Canadian money.
What'd you get from the Bucks?
I was on the practice squad.
You were the Tampa Bay Bucks. You were on the practice squad for 1 year or 2 years?
For 1 year. Then I got released, and it was workout, try to get more workouts for teams, or it was, you were an ex-NFL player, you can go to Canada and play right now. And for me, I really just wanted to play football at this point. Like, I went to JUCO and I went to Jackson State, so it's not like I really appreciated football at that time.
You loved the game.
Yeah, at that time.
Even with all the pain, you loved the game.
You're really not thinking about that, though. You really think about everything else, like, because when you play football from young, you're always taught to always be tough. You're taught that it's a mental game. So in the fourth quarter, when you're tired, it's a mental thing to continue to keep going. And when I got to the Canadian Football League, I was on the practice squad for the first couple of weeks, and the running back got hurt. And I end up coming up to the active roster and starting immediately. And it was a good thing for me, and it was a bad thing for me, because when you're playing sports, when we're in boys club, we think, if I don't practice, I'm the man. Coach love me. I'm going to just sit on the side until game day, and I'm going to play game day. And when you get to leagues like the Canadian Football League that has, at the time I was there, 8 teams, and you now have a melting pot from the NFL when guys get released from preseason because the season starts earlier in Canada. 8 teams now have NFL camps going to camp with like 90 players, 100 players sometimes. And when you get down to the last roster, you got 52 and then 10 on the practice squad. So you got 40 players, you got 38 guys from 31 teams that Canadian GMs are now like, I could pick this. So you're not even really playing against.
Did you find it exciting in the CFL?
The CFL was still football for me. So at the time, it was still fun. At the time, it was still a chance, almost like the 13th grade. Almost like...
Man, I think about, like, you grow up, you said Prince George's County?
Yep.
Maryland.
Yep.
Surely you're watching what was then called the Redskins,
yep.
Eagles,
yep.
whatever, everybody, Giants, for dreaming of being on one of them teams.
Yes.
You were not dreaming of being in the CFL.
Nah, but that's the part of reality that I think kills a lot of athletes and kills a lot of people as far as mindset and pride.
What do you mean?
Do I continue to stay home and work out for teams hoping to get picked up? Or do I continue to play the game of football that I love, that I almost did for the past 10 to 12 years of my life, depending on when you start playing football, for free?
I can go to Canada
make
play
money
now.
and still make film and still have film to have the opportunity to possibly one day come back and play in the NFL.
And people don't choose that because they are dreaming of that.
Yeah, you got that NFL dream. You feel like certain people feel like I can't. Just imagine going to Oklahoma the year they won a national championship and you played and you probably played and you don't get picked up. Your first bet is not to go 2 months without getting picked up and say, I'm going to go to Canada. No, you just left Oklahoma that was probably just in the national championship. You want to make sure that you give yourself the opportunity. So your pride is not going to let you go to Canada. You're going to stay home and possibly train for a whole year and work out for teams and possibly not get picked up before you say, I will take a guaranteed $15,000
I ran into Eddie George, NFL legend.
Yeah.
In airport once,
Yep.
sitting at a bar together and talking, super lovely guy. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, I think he's speaking about his specific job, that in an NFL game, it's only actually 5 minutes of action.
Of action, yes. Yeah.
But it is the hardest 5 minutes
Of your
you
life.
could imagine.
Ever. Like, plays are only
Few seconds.
a few seconds. And you got to have a big play is 20 seconds.
And you are not involved in most plays.
And unless I'm breaking a 70-yard touchdown, once I chip a DN for blocking to make sure the quarterback get the ball off, even if the wide receiver is still caught the ball and making, my job is done. So that's 3 seconds. Hike, block, I'm done. But that block is going to come with a 290-pound Michael Parsons coming off the edge, and that thump alone, just imagine you walking in your house and you bumped it, you run into the wall real quick when the light not on, you're like, damn, my shoulder. You got somebody 290 pounds that run a 4.4 running at you, and you're running at him to make sure that you can bring some type of stoppage to him, his momentum.
But as a blocker, you're going backwards.
You going backwards.
He's going forward.
Yeah,
So he's got the momentum.
So he already got the momentum. So you really just now trying to hold on for dear life that he does either swim move you or get around you or run through you and still get to the quarterback. So that's 4 seconds of hard pain, whether it's physically blocking or mentally. You know how much your body goes into shock when you do something wrong and you know it. So now just imagine blocking for your quarterback and you see your assignment slips past you and you're like in the midst of a game, in the midst of a shock. Like your whole body goes into a freeze.
I mean, you just fucked up the whole drive, probably. You let a sack.
And that's all you're thinking about as you see your assignment being blown. That 3rd and 5, you probably had a receiver open. A quarterback would have easily dumped it off to him if I get my hand on my blocker. And you're thinking about that in the midst of it. So that's a 5-second mental
freak out
that can cause instant headache, that can cause, like, for people like me, anxiety is unreal.
I mean, when you miss that block and your guy gets sacked, did the other guys on the bench fucked up? What the fuck?
Nah, man. I mean,
people pick you up, or they just like, come on, nigga,
people's going. Nah, I mean, you get mixed. You get mixed emotions. You get, come on, and then you get like, come on, man. It's never really like. I mean, you gonna feel bad regardless. You gonna feel bad. Just imagine that's in anything you do. You gonna feel bad if you knew something relied on you and you. So at that professional level, you don't really have too many other people like making you feel a certain type of way because you already know. You already like.
You can't make me feel worse than
I'm already feeling at this point because one. Right now in 2024, the way social media is, like dropping a game-winning pass will have you on suicide watch.
Really?
What? Imagine being in the playoffs. I play for the Saints. We playing Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl. Game winning pass in my hands. I drop it. These people on the internet will not let you live.
Wait, hold on. The people on the internet are hurt worse than your teammates who you've been rocking with all year, looking at like.
No, it's not hurt. It's what they say. Oh, I hope you die. Oh, you bum. Like, and you're getting that from. This is a world that we live in where people use social media. So just imagine going on it.
But I would think my teammates being like.
But your teammates also know like that wasn't something that you could like. If you can control it, that's not something that you wanted to do. Your teammates genuinely know that.
Yeah, but they know you got to make a play.
You do got to make a play.
We called your number. You knew it was coming to you. You could have made that catch.
But we all human.
So your teammates are giving you that grace of like.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, what can you?
That could happen to any of us, and it probably has happened.
And it has
between high school, college,
and it has
somewhere you dropped a pass.
you've blown your assignment
Yeah.
to like the greatest. LeBron James has missed game-winning
I'm
shots.
sure Jerry Rice has
Jerry
somewhere,
Rice has dropped.
right? What?
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
At least
happened.
once.
At least once. Quarterbacks have. Peyton Manning has thrown interceptions to end games. He did it in the Super Bowl.
I mean,
but when you're one of those guys that you've done more spectacular plays than bad plays, yeah, your teammate's not going to crucify you, especially when, it's my coach always used to say, my coach in junior college used to say, if we ever lose it, because in junior college, I went 16-4. My first year in junior college, we didn't lose a game. And then we went 6-4 my second year. And my coach used to say to me, if we're ever close enough to lose a game off of one person's mistake, we were never in the game in the first place. Like, that means more things happen in that game that shouldn't have happened. To have the game so close.
That's why I get mad when fans are like, we lost because of that call.
So that's what I'm saying with the fans.
There's 100 other things that happened that
you're mad because we lost off of that call. We didn't lose off of that call. We lost off of everything we did to get to this point to either have to go down on a game-winning drive or stop a team from going. Just imagine you stopped a team all game.
We see the playbook, and it looks thick. To me, it looks intimidating. Is it complicated?
So, playbooks are definitely you're gonna break down position. You're gonna break down assignment per person. You're gonna break down unit. So whether you're wide out package, 5 wide, double tight, with eye backfield, wing backfield, every backfield, every set has multiple plays, multiple different motions, multiple calls. So now everyone has his own page that you need to know, because if Ringo, if you see a end sliding to the right, like they show you, like you can't put that on the same page as another play. So now that has its own play. But my playbook and lack of caring for the game is why a lot of people don't make it, and that's why I feel like I didn't make it.
What do you mean your lack of caring? You said you loved the game.
I wasn't a playbook guy. I wasn't a...
lack of caring about the playbook.
Yeah, I wasn't a playbook guy. I wasn't a crazy study film guy. Like, in college, it was like my roommate was a playbook guy. And I wasn't a playbook guy, but I was a freakish athlete that by 2 series in the game, I got my film. I'm watching film when I'm supposed to. I'm watching film when the team's watching film.
You're such a good athlete. I can run over, around, or through these guys.
But every single person in college football or NFL or CFL are somewhat good. And when you get to the next level, everybody's good. Everybody can run through walls. Everybody can do one-hand catches. And every old lineman can block. And every quarterback can throw the ball 70 yards. You got backfields that had Miami had Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, and Clinton Portis at one time. And
you talking about the U?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Frank Gore don't get hurt, Willis McGahee never gets his chance.
Right.
And if
Gay
Willis
got
McGahee
hurt.
don't get hurt, Clinton Portis never gets his chance.
All three of them go to the NFL.
All three of them go to the NFL
Big stars.
and are superstars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just imagine if one of them don't get hurt. One of them we never know of.
Interesting. So wait, take me to the moment, the thought process where you were like, you know what? This has gone as far as it can go. I need to pivot to something else.
Oh, I was in Canada. It was easy. It was easy. I was playing for Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Winnipeg Jets, that was the first year that the Winnipeg Jets came back to Winnipeg for hockey. We stayed in the same condos. It was that year, like, going into the second season, we had just came from the Canadian Bowl, and we played BC and British Columbia. And going into that season, battled all summer, came back ready, starting running back, played 11 games. In game 7, felt like I tweaked my groin. And I was like, I'm all right. And coach like, we'll rest you on the week, get you ready to go for the game, whether you got, take a shot or whatever. Play the game. And you're gonna play the game. Your mental mind as a man is gonna say, oh no, I'm about to go rest for 150 tonight. We playing Montreal, I'm out here. So you're gonna play. You're gonna play knowing at the end of the game, if you win, your teammates going to some Montreal club to turn up, and you in a hotel bed because that pain medicine done wore off, and you still got a messed up groin. Like, groin don't take a week of sitting off and play a whole 60-minute game and you're back good. Nah, you gotta really like rest your. But then you worried because if you sit out too long, this is a league that will replace you tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. So I go into game 8 and game 9 and game 10, and I'm really like, whew, like this shit might be worse than I thought it was. Like I might have to, but again, what I said earlier about back in high school and early on, you think when the coach tell you to sit out, he's doing it because he loves you. And nah, they doing it because they want the best interest for them.
Yeah, they're gonna win games.
Oh, why would we want to hurt you more during the week? We just need you to be good on Saturday. Because in Canada, we played on Saturday. Right. We just need you to be good on Saturday. Everything else, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, by game 10, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing this because I haven't checked yet, but I'm pretty sure I've been torn this joint off the bone. But at this point, I'm walking with a limp every day. But of course, once you get shot up and once you go out there and you see that crowd, and at the end of the day, you're still playing football, something that you did for so long for free. So it's a blessing to be able to go out there and do it. And then even if you're still playing on a high level, and then I say, fine, I'm going to sit out. And that week, they bring 2 guys up that was just on NFL rosters to put them on the practice squad as running backs. And now,
Here's my replacement.
and pretty much, and pretty much, you're thinking in your head, they've brought this guy up here. 2, I'm hurt, but I also know that if I stay on this table too long, they're gonna end up bringing one of these guys up and putting them active to see what they can do. And in Canada, they only take one game for somebody to go off while somebody else is hurt. I mean, that's how I got my opportunity. So it's really like, you're thinking to yourself like, one, a team can't release you when you're hurt. So now they know they want to release you because they've practiced a couple days without you at practice. And they're running through with the practice squad guys that they just brought up, and they could probably say, okay, we could probably use them right now. So now the trainers start asking you, you healthy? You ready? Tobias, you feeling good? Like, get out there on the treadmill. And again, your mind gonna tell you, you sat out 2 weeks, you're like, nah, I can go. Your mind telling you can go because the man in you, the football player in you, and all you know is being that dog. It's like, oh no, I gotta go. So yeah, I'm good. Just to get in practice 2 days later, and coach call you in the office just to tell you that they're gonna go another direction. So for me, you already making pennies on the dollar for as far as your sport. You making
To fuck this.
$10,000 a week. If $10,000 a week, you get a bonus. You're getting 500, and then most of the time it's a quarterback-driven league. You get anywhere within the 10, quarterback on quarterback sneak, on call his own number. At the end of the day, it's still a numbers game. Everybody want to get paid off of bonuses because Canada makes your contracts off of touchdowns thrown, touchdowns ran, catches, rushing yards.
That is rough because there's a lot of times when you made a big play that got us close.
All the time.
And then after it's just a chip shot to get in, but he scored the touchdown.
Chip shot.
You did the 20, 30-yard
on
run.
the 1-2 yard line. And the coach would call your play in. And a quarterback sneak. And when you start counting, when it starts to get that stressful in that aspect of it, far as like, damn, bro, like, that was $10,000 I could have used. Like, if I got, that was $1,000 I could have used if I would have got that touchdown, and you already got 4 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you start to think about stuff like that, and then it was just like I came home, and my agent was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna jump on the phone and make a couple calls." And I said, "It's a wrap." I was like, "I'm about to go to culinary school."
You already knew.
I had always looked up culinary school. I really wanted to go to the Art Institute during the off season. Because Canada, you either stay out there and make some money doing camps. I was in Winnipeg. It was negative 20 degrees. I wanted the first train out of Winnipeg. Like, you couldn't even, in that all season that I had before my last year there, they would offer Americans money to like host camps and stuff. Nah, I'm cool. $50,000 not gonna get me to stay out in negative 20 where I could have my summer. And now I have to deal with negative 20 degrees.
But what did you love about cooking that you're like, I'm gonna go do that?
Well, for me, cooking always been my escape. I've always been the person to be the life of the party. So my dorms, my apartment off campus was always the spot that I would have fish fries. I would invite the volleyball team and the girls softball team and some of my football teammates. And like, we eating like full meals. We got our J card and we can go to the grocery store and that's where they put our refund check on. So, beginning of the semester, you got about $3,500 in J money. For a little bit, you can eat steak and lobster, and you inviting people over, and you seeing like what what it brings you, and you're like, oh, okay. And it's always been something that every time I found myself doing it, it was just a way to get away from everything.
So wait, you go to culinary school in Chicago.
No, in D.C.
DC.
Washington.
And then you go to another culinary school in Sicily.
So I had a chef that I worked for, and while I was doing my internship for the Art Institute, was like, you don't belong here.
Why not?
Not in a good way. He said, you're just so young and so raw. You need to go. The Art Institute was off of, I called that the GI fund. People just went off of GI money, off of Army money, and didn't really care. You could go to the Art Institute every day and not go to class, sit in the back of the class, not really do nothing, and teacher, chef would tell you, okay, your guys can go over here, where you go to another culinary school, and it's like, if your mom passed away, I better see the obituary.
We're here to work.
Because we're here, and it's just a different culture of how you're taught it from the States to overseas. And it was something that I just think, for me, it's always been something with me that I've always made myself feel like I had to be the best in whatever it is that I did.
What did you learn in Sicily?
I learned structure. I learned fine dining. I learned the etiquette to eat. I learned pasta. I learned fragrance as far as food having the smell of fungus and truffles, and the aroma of cheese. That cheese has that funky, unky smell, and the delicacy of attention to detail into a plate, into a dining experience that we, and I say we as a culture, that we sometimes lack because of thinking that we have to make everything a party.
Mm-hmm.
When right now my restaurant that I have is literally in my neighborhood I grew up in, that's never ever had a fine dining restaurant ever in life. Like never anything remotely close to what I have. And I put that there because I want to educate us on food. I want to be able to tell people the difference of going to restaurants that have composed dishes rather than going to restaurants that have. So you go to Mastro's right now, you're gonna get your steak on the plate. You're gonna get your creamy spinach on a whole nother bowl that they're gonna scoop out. But if I'm putting curry risotto with a jerk short rib and pickled onions on top, I'm putting it there for a reason. I'm not putting it with mashed potatoes. I'm not putting it there for you to substitute it for mashed potatoes. So when you come to my restaurant, one thing that it was hard for people in my community to accept was no substitutions. I'm giving it to you this way because I want you to taste it on this flavor profile. So I have some bacon jam deviled eggs, shrimp deviled eggs on my menu. It's the yolk, it's the shrimp, topped with a jalapeno bacon jam. A lot of people don't eat pork up north. Well, I say up north, on our end. There's no pork is not a thing. So a lot of people ask for it without the pork, without the bacon jam. Can't get it.
Because that is not the way it is intended to be tasted.
Bingo. You can go get a shrimp deviled egg from anywhere else. But if you're gonna come here, I got another shrimp appetizer on my menu if you want shrimp. But to get what I wanted you to eat, you gotta get it this way or you can't get it. And that was my first hurdle. And then my second hurdle was educating my people on different things to eat.
Like what?
Different fish, like Not always. For a while, I didn't have salmon on my menu, and salmon is a typical black fish. That's a fish that every black person gonna eat. Like it's that's what we grew up on. It's easy to make. It's gonna be on everybody's menu, but so many other fish out here that are amazing. Dover soles, amazing. Striped bass is amazing. Rockfish is amazing.
I'm curious, as a restaurateur and a chef, what are some of the other ways that you feel like my black consumers, my black customers are not, they're at odds with what I'm trying to do. They don't understand what I'm trying to do. Like, what are the particular challenges of black restaurant goers?
So the hardest part about opening a restaurant being you get, luckily, in what I've done in my culinary career, from cooking for athletes to cooking for entertainers to opening restaurants to being on TV to having a food cooking show on ESPN to winning Chef of the Year 2 nights ago in Maryland.
Wow. Holy shit.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I hold myself to a standard of excellence when it comes to the food, but I don't have the Catch or the Mastros or the Ocean Primes or STK money to initially start out. So my restaurant right now is in the old Five Guys that I've completely transformed into a small, intimate dining space of 42 seats, a 4-seat chef table, a service bar, and a lounge with 12 seats, just so I could be able to give an intimate dining experience, the fine dining, mostly 2 tops. I'll never seat more than 6 because I wanted very intimate tables, not far from each other, where you can look at somebody else's, table, but double wine glass, knife, fork, spoon, the full dining experience. And I'll have a black consumer that come to support, love to support, and compare me to a Catch. I went to Catch, and they ain't done, and their air worked, and da-da-da. Catch got a $5 million build out with equipment that probably one piece of it probably costs what 5 of my equipment costs.
They can afford to be more flexible.
They can afford to train their staff 20 times longer without receiving a dime. When you get a $200,000, you get your investor to give you $200,000, you build out by $150 after permits and all that, you spending about another $30. You just built it out. Now you got this dream. When you're dreaming about this restaurant that you want to open, and you got amazing servers and amazing GMs and amazing bartenders and amazing line cooks and food runners, and then you wake up and you got to hire these people. So after you hire them, you got to train them. And smaller businesses really hurt in that department, because now I've had $200,000 to open my restaurant, and an investor is just thinking like, you got $200,000, you need to be able to open a restaurant, train your staff, and you've built the infrastructure, but now you still got to get the staff on the same page as you before you open your doors, because now if you don't open your doors long enough, you're not making no money, so no money's coming in.
Right.
Now, if you do open your doors and your staff ain't ready, the consumer, you can't go to every consumer and say, please be patient with me. We're just opening, we're just training. But a Catch got the opportunity to have staff in-house for a month without a person walking through the door, because they got another $500,000, $100,000 to put away.
I had no idea of that part of it, and why a Catch or whatever level restaurant seems to be tip-top, well-oiled machine.
You can train for a
but
month.
you are it takes you longer.
Absolutely.
To get
It's not.
But are you saying your black consumers in particular are like where?
I mean,
where,
we always gonna be our biggest. We always gonna be our biggest critique. But I can guarantee that sometimes with me being who I am, me talking about culinary, how I talk about it, me being one of the rare few black faces that look like me, talk like me, act like me on Food Network, which is a predominantly white show, and I strive on it. So they're already ready to like, he talk like him, like this restaurant better be, it better not be no hiccups in here. It better not be one mistake in here. And if it is, it could be a mistake of, I got an old Five Guys. I gotta go up on the roof and switch my air from air to heat in the middle of the summer because my units is so old, and the units is $150,000.
do you find black people to not be good tippers?
No.
No.
I feel like when you get, and that's my struggle where with my staff, we've never experienced that. Because
So you have found black people to be good tippers.
yeah, we provide a service. I feel like people really get the mistaken. People get it mistaken when they say like black people aren't great tippers. I feel like sometimes we lack the service that we give people. We as a culture, we as a lot of black-owned businesses, restaurants in itself, businessmen opening restaurants, not really understanding the dining and aspect side of giving somebody an experience rather than the cash coming in.
I mean, we know people in the restaurant industry talk about black people are not great tippers. And we know some servers will be like, I don't want that table, you take that table.
We also talk about restaurants that also don't go the extra mile in making sure that they're giving the experience that they're supposed to give. So if you ain't giving the experience that you're supposed to give, but you got an expectation to always get, how do you get without giving?
Why does the manager come by and say, is everything okay? You never say, no, I have a problem. If you had a problem, you would have called him or her.
You're touching the table. You're making the guests aware that you're here and personable with the, because if I'm in a restaurant and, for instance, my restaurant, you'll get like some of my athletes and stuff, they come, they sit at the chef table, they getting a personal handshake from me, they're talking to me. And then you get another guest that comes in, and they're sitting in the dining room, and the GM comes and just say, hey, how you doing? You feel like you're a part of the space. You feel like you're supposed to be there.
To make you feel welcome.
You feel welcomed. You feel honored to be in a space where people tell me every day when they see me in a restaurant, like, I didn't even think, I had no clue you would be in here. And I'm like, I'm in here.
You come out a lot?
For sure.
Because some restaurants, you never see the chef.
Yeah.
And some restaurants, the chef will come out and say hi.
Listen, I'm where I am because of the people that come to my restaurant.
For you.
For me. People come to the restaurant. I just watched him on Tournaments of Champs. Just saw him on this. Why would I not, come out and talk to these people that appreciate what I do?
But it is, doing a shift in the kitchen in a professional restaurant is very hard. It's a long, wild night.
Oh, a very out of control night. I call it, my executive chef at Huncho House, he hates it, and I call it's controlled chaos.
Yes, for sure.
It's control. I don't want it to, and with my culinary career, it has always just went so fast. I went as a private chef, a couple months, boom, I'm Santana Moss chef. I'm Trent Williams chef. I'm Deshaun Jackson chef. I'm Kirk Cousins chef. Then I go into a food truck, and I got 100 people in line at my food truck. And then I start appearing on Guys Grocery Games, and then I start getting on other shows, and I'm on Chopped, and I'm on Tournament of Champs, and then I'm like the final four contestant. Then I open a restaurant with James Harden in Houston. And then it's like, oh, I gotta get in his restaurant, no matter what. And now you got people that from the community that you grew up in now seeing coming, oh, I came here for my anniversary, but I didn't think you would be here. Now I'm here.
But no, it's controlled chaos.
And then
orders are coming in. Mistakes have happened. Guests are turning things back. Something got.
But that's what we try to prevent. And we try
Of course, but shit's happening.
And the controlled chaos comes from trying to prevent it so much. Because if you was just throwing shit out, you'd be like, oh, all right. But you're like, is the steak ready to go with the pasta? How long on steak? Hey, is that fish dropped yet? Because now the fish got to go out. So it's constant. Like, if you're inside Expo, you're basically you're the quarterback, and the Expo is the head coach, and basically the quarterback handing everything to the head coach to basically send out. So as the quarterback, you got to make sure that this pasta that's going to take 8 minutes to put together is in time with this steak that's going to take 26 minutes to cook because the guest wants it mid-well. So now you make this pasta and this steak still got 8 minutes to cook. This pasta is either sitting on the stove on low heat, overcooking, or sitting sitting on your plating station and it's getting cold from the room air because no coordination and talking. Hey, how long you got on your pasta? 6 minutes. 6 minutes left on pasta. How long on steak? 8 minutes. 8. In 6 minutes, we starting to plate. Light up your set your cast iron. We serve our steaks in cast irons, so it go out hot. Hey, at 2 minutes, you're gonna drop your cast iron, so now it can come to temp, so you can put your steak on. You don't know these things because now, if you on the grill and you're not coordinating when you come to a restaurant like mine, I expect you and your partner to get your food at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
Not your food come out,
no, of course.
And then you wait in 10 minutes for the other dish to come out. But when there's no communication because it's too calm, everybody's just passively doing their own thing.
No, it's loud in the kitchen.
Now the steak goes out and pasta, and they don't even know on saute that the steak has gone out and your pasta's still sitting on the stove and you cutting into your steak and your dinner and your date don't even have a pasta in front of them because of no communication. So it's constant talking. So you're never, ever going to ever hear it quiet.
Right.
You're never going to.
And it's busy as fuck.
And you want things to go out in, 13 minutes, the appetizer ain't gone out yet.
Are you a yeller as a chef?
I'm a yeller. I'm for sure. I'm not for everybody.
You're not what?
I'm not for everybody. Yeah, for sure I'm not.
You curse people out in the kitchen?
Not necessarily cuss people out, but I talk at a aggressive tone of we you know where we at. Like and a lot of leaders don't understand. I think in another year or so, like we'll look back at this and really be like, hey, he was right about who he was as a chef. Like I wake up time and time again right now, even seeing what I've accomplished as a chef for the type of people I've cooked for, and the biggest of the. I had a restaurant with James Harden, who's arguably one of the biggest basketball stars.
For sure. What was that like? Working with the beard.
That's my dog. I was in met him in Miami in a restaurant I had opened in Miami. Went to the bubble with him while they were in the bubble. He didn't want the food in the bubble. Rented a house out there, cooked every day for him the whole time they were in the bubble. Brought up the idea of opening a restaurant. They had a restaurant on one side, a hookah lounge on one side, and a club in the basement. So full on, if I want to smoke some hookah, I go over here. If I want some fine dining, I go over here. And we talked about it, and I went down there, and at that time I was parting ways with my business partner I had in Miami, and it was a great opportunity for me to go there and open that restaurant with James. And I'm talking about here, like this your restaurant, like open it, like menu creation. So I opened this restaurant with James. Trent Williams, I've been Trent Williams chef for 9 years. Trent's arguably will go down, if not 1, 2 best offensive linemen ever to play the game. Highest contract ever. I announced Trent contract on Twitter when he signed the new contract. So being able to have these type of clients and, you know, build this type of world as a chef, as a chef that looked like me, I really feel like the world really don't know.
How often you and James go to the strip club?
James, it's funny. That's why I say, you know, early on, I said, you know, the world see 5% of your life on the internet. And the crazy thing about it is they see 0% of his life. Because if you look on James' Instagram, it's all clippers or his shoe or his wine. Yeah. So, like, just imagine being caught in the strip club 3 times a year and people make it seem, because it's not like it's like endless. People replay certain videos and things like that, but just imagine being caught in the strip club 3 times in a year. And every time you get caught because you're James Harden, they blow it up to this, oh, James is out and about, and it's probably 50 other people in that club that are celebrities that are out every single week.
Right.
That nobody say nothing about.
Yo, when I see a food truck, usually I assume it's going to be banging.
You assume that?
I assume it's going to be good.
Really?
Yeah, especially if they... Yeah, I mean, something about looking at a truck and be like, nah, that's going to be good. And I have high expectations and usually get great food from food trucks.
So are you from New York?
Well, I grew up in Boston, but I've been here a long time.
But you've been here for a long time. So it's different. The New York food truck scene is a lot different from other states.
Okay.
So when I had my food truck in 2018, food trucks were a thing that was just starting to come up.
Yeah.
So the couple that you did see out there, you ain't trying to get no food from the food trucks. Like, you know, it's not like you can go to New York and walk a whole block, nothing but food trucks. So you have options.
Yeah.
So when the food truck scene really started in Maryland and DC, you had to have a lottery to be in certain places. So now, after a while, if you already established yourself as a vendor, you know you're gonna get an upper hand on the lottery, where you go in front of the monument or you'll be by the White House, the places where you're gonna get foot traffic. And in Maryland, they had no policies where you gotta have a full-on permit to vend anywhere that they don't provide for you. So it's only hubs that you could go to, and the hubs weren't in the best areas. So food trucks weren't a thing. People told me I had ribeyes, lamb chops, crab cakes, mac and cheese, and people told me it was no way possible that my food truck was gonna work. It never worked. Nobody's standing in line for an hour. You wasted your time. I had an 80-inch screen on one side, 20-inch digital screen on one side, music on the outside. Every day I seen 50 to 60 people in line, in lawn chairs, just catching the vibe, waiting for food. I'm asking some of the guys, like, hey, you ain't getting no food? Man, the line is impeccable. I'm here. It was always a good time. And people always got good-ass food every time. I used to say, I'm taking roof trips to the hood. And I would pull up in certain areas and like staple areas in our area that I would team up with, probably like a clothing store that had a front. I would post up. My homegirl got a spice suite that I would pull up in front of, and the line to do it where you can go in the spice suite and get some spices while you wait in line, and you can wait in line. You're gonna meet people. You're gonna talk to people. It was always an experience of food, and that's why I feel like food is so easy to make cool, and it was easy that's why my transition was so easy, because I could still be me and do it the way I'm doing it the way I want to do it right now, and I feel like Food Network has me in a cradle right now. Like, they don't know what to do with me, because it's like they can't not put me on the show, because every time I'm on the show, I do well, especially in the biggest competition show on Food Network. I finish in the Final Four, and these are in top chefs in the country. But Tobias won't turn the corner all the way for us. And if I turn the corner, that young boy that's from Riverdale, Maryland, that looked like me, that thinks that it's only cool to be a football player or a rapper, now gets to see somebody that look like, because if you turn on Food Network every day and you don't see somebody that look like you, what would make you keep watching it?
Wait, let's talk to that kid for a second. You've been to culinary school. Let's teach. How do you make a good home chef better? What does he or she need to learn from you to step their cooking game up?
Books, reading, culinary books. And like books are important when if you
Look
want.
who became a playbook guy.
Yeah. Oh, listen.
In this world, I'm a playbook guy.
And that's where I understood that my love for it was a lot different from my love from football.
Or you love this more than that?
I was a chef that was playing football. That's how I spend my world at this point. For what I do, as far as the whole overall experience, I don't want you to come to my restaurant and say the food was good. That's not a good night for me. Oh man, I came to your restaurant, the food was great. That's it. How was the experience? Did you enjoy the champagne that you got when you arrived? How was the palate cleanser that we gave you before your main course to wash off your palate? That's on us.
The look, the feel, the seats, the
oh my God,
who greeted you.
Oh my God, why did the GM come and talk to us?
It should feel, to me, seamless, right? Everything was smooth.
Like poetry. Food and ambiance are two things that mesh so well together that if you do it the right way, it's going to be seamless every single time because it's going to be genuine. I came in here and you probably had talking points, but we've been able to just have genuine conversation because it's just been genuine. And when you walk into a restaurant and my host is just genuinely happy to see you and genuinely happy to ask you if you want a glass of champagne while you wait 5 minutes for your table to get sat, you're already like, damn, champagne for free when I got here? Now your experience starts. And it's supposed to go from then to your table to your server, now making you feel like why you're in this restaurant.
Do you tell the server, I want you to say hello to the table within a certain amount of time?
It's in their guide.
How long is that?
A table should get touched from the time an ass hits a seat within 3 minutes of at least being greeted by a food runner or a server in either stating to the table, how you doing? Welcome to Huncho House. Thank you for coming. I'm your server tonight. Can you give me 1 second while I go finish one thing and I'll return? Or now I have my whole spiel. Thank you for coming to Huncho House. I appreciate you for coming. And now I get the spiel. But the table has to be aware of that. If I sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and nobody touches me, we're not on, there goes the poetry where the poetry has a gap in it, and now we're not on the same page.
I feel lonely.
I feel lonely.
I feel like, what, 7 minutes, I'm like, what is going on?
And don't let somebody of higher authority in the restaurant engage with another table for a long period of time while you're waiting. You're like, well, what the fuck? Like, why my table ain't getting worked on?
The new folks gotta get a touch quickly.
Quickly. That'll spare you as a server if you have another table where you either gotta take their food to go get boxed up by a busser, or you gotta ring in a check, or you gotta pick up a drink order. It'll give the table the comfortability of knowing they have greeted me.
Yeah.
I at least know I have water coming. I at least know that after that, hopefully, which is supposed to be now in the introduction of what are we here for? How many times do you go to a black restaurant? I'm gonna say black, and I say black being, I tend not to want to get judged when my restaurant is, the black chef with that nice restaurant. I just want you to come to my restaurant. But for some reason, I always get put in that category. As a black chef, cool. But when you go to restaurants and you sit down, automatically in your head, your clock starts.
Yeah.
As a guest,
Yeah.
your clock immediately starts. And if you don't know what's going on, because you're not being informed by nobody in the restaurant, you go from this happy guest to now giving your server the slightest bit of and it could have probably been off of how we saying that things aren't seamless. The host sitting at table without notifying the server that I've now sat you.
So he or she has to let the server know, like.
And we have cues.
Mm-hmm.
B2. That's a simple and the host acknowledging that the server saw that. Because just imagine if I'm in the back boxing something real quick and you sat my table. And we're busy. I got 2 other tables, so I'm wanting to go check on them. By the time I finish boxing something, that probably take me 2-3 minutes. I go check on another table, that probably take me 5 minutes. You looked up, you've been sitting for 10 minutes.
Yo, being a server is hard.
It's hard
You're
work.
juggling 3, 4, maybe 5, probably not 5, but 3, 4 tables at a time. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's also easy if you do it the right way. DC has professional servers make $120,000 a year.
That's what your guys make?
No, DC. If you go to DC, you can find, I'm in Hyattsville, Maryland, where right now, the most of what I'm doing is educating the people that come in and teaching them to get to that level. Because how many times are you going to leave Manhattan to go work in, what's a small, Yonkers?
But I want to give them some cooking tips. What can you teach the average level home chef that will...
Sharp knives. Sharp knives are more important than dull knives. If you invest in a knife one time, which I do got a single knife that drops next month and a 3-piece set that drops next month. But if you have sharp knives, you prevent yourself from getting cut from bad cuts. If you want to say you want to be a chef on your home time, you want your bell peppers to be uniformed, and you don't want to mush spinach when you're cutting it because you got a dull knife. And people don't understand a dull knife can cut you faster than a sharp knife. Because now if you cut with a dull knife on a bell pepper, for say, and you on the skin side, and it can't cut and it slips and it cuts you. So a lot of people don't understand how important, if you're gonna be at home cooking, make sure you have a knife that is of quality, because it makes sense to have. How are you gonna make sure that you season food?
How do we get seasoning right? That was my next question.
You see, people don't season food.
How do you do it right?
Pasta, salt water. Your water's supposed to taste like an ocean when you're cooking pasta.
So it's a lot of salt.
A lot of salt. If you got a gallon of water on the stove, you need 5 tablespoons of salt.
I remember Anthony Bourdain talking about we use
The goat.
way more butter and salt than you would imagine.
I did an event for somebody one time, and somebody said, one of the chefs, white chef, big name chef, and he said, God damn, my cholesterol is gonna be crazy tonight, because I'm throwing butter in my mash, tons of it. You're gonna see clarified butter along the sides of my mashed potatoes. There's so much butter in there. And another person walked in the room and said, did y'all have those mashed potatoes? The best I've ever had in my life. And I looked at him and smiled, because people tend to be afraid to season their food. If you know what you're eating. So if I tell you these some buttery lobster mashed potatoes, if you watching your diet, don't go there.
Of course, anything that you make would be black food because you're a black person making it. But you understand, and the audience don't understand, when we talk about black food, there's a specific black food, soul food, whatever, African-American food tradition.
Right.
Are you making black food?
Am I making black food? I want to say I'm making a food for a palate, not a color. And when I say that, I make food to taste good. You don't necessarily have to fry chicken all the time. You don't necessarily have to. You can eat sashimi. You can eat crudo. It's different forms of food. So it's not necessarily saying it's black food, because how I make us comfortable and still elevating us, I got so I have these things called, in DC, we have a thing called mambo sauce.
Mambo sauce.
Yeah, it's like a dipping sauce that we dip chicken and fries, and you can go to the carryout and get it. It's like our staple. I mix it and create a jerk mambo. So it's flavors from jerk and the mambo sauce and other spices and some acid that I combine to make a semi-sweet, spicy rub and sauce that I dip my chicken wings in. So I French chicken legs. So boom, that's already oh my God, my chicken legs are French now. It's nothing on the bone. It's only a meat on the bottom of the drumstick. That's labor. So some restaurants, hey, I just give them 4 chicken legs, drumsticks on a plate, and throw some parsley on it. People call that the N-word glitter.
You can say it.
You know, people call it nigger glitter. Like, and parsley is...
Parsley is nigger glitter?
Yeah, like... yeah, people call parsley nigger glitter. And because you tend to, if you look at a lot of... They're going to finish every dish with that. Like... Or you could take time out and French your chicken so it's a French lollipop, dip it in the sauce, plate it a certain type of way, and send it out. And now the same dish that I probably grew up eating, as in probably a fried chicken leg, I'm now eating almost sophisticated. I'm holding the chicken lollipop like, oh, man, this is different. But I'm making you feel comfortable, and I'm not going away from who I am. I'm introducing people to risotto.
I love risotto. Oh my God.
Amazing. But not too many people know risotto. What is risotto? So how I'm gonna make it fun? I'm gonna make it curry. We know curry. So now I'm making it curry, and now I'm putting it with a short rib. But they take this jerk short rib right here, and now I'm gonna throw peas in my risotto.
So there's a lot of Caribbean influence?
A Caribbean Huncho House is like a fusion of Caribbean, Asian, and Italian with my pastas.
So you're not really going through the African American tradition.
No. I want to give us I got an Asian garlic noodle that's a Asian based sauce with gochujang, brown sugar, soy sauce.
What's your best seller?
I got a whole snapper, fried whole snapper, 1 to 2 pounds, brown stew sauce, carrots, onions, peppers, a whole snapper. So you get the whole thing together. We sell about 12 a night. It's $80 on the menu. People love it. They love the presentation. People tick me off when they come in. Can I get it with the head off? No.
Why not?
It kills the presentation.
I don't want to see the head.
I take it off, but it's one of those things that I have an open kitchen. So if you're looking in the kitchen and the server see that's on the note, then the guest is gonna see me like.
But now wait a minute. This is an interesting thing. Fish, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. Fish and pigs, are pretty much the only thing that we serve with face. Everything else, we get rid of the face, so I don't have to think about it's a cow, it's a chicken, it's a whatever. Like, but with fish, I mean, fish are in the ocean, and I think for some reason we look down on pigs so we could eat their faces. But like, I just sort of historically, I'm like, why do we think?
I mean, I don't
give
think,
them the fish with the face instead of like, I don't want the fish. I don't remember it was living.
Not that you remember.
Because it's looking at you.
So you got some cultures that, you can make, in my culture, you can make fish head stew.
Oh, for sure.
So some people, still eat that. But I could show you a picture of the dish with the head on and with the head off, and it's a total different experience.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. So that was the adjustment as a chef, as a chef-based restaurant. You want to make money and you want to confide it to your guests, but you also want to stay true to yourself. So some chefs lose by trying to confine it to themselves by not giving in at all. When I first opened my restaurant, I didn't have salmon on the menu, and I had a whole bronzino and a whole snapper, and both of them were head on. And people just couldn't take it. Head on both your fish? Golly! So I took the head off the bronzino, served it flat, just so I could bring some type of comfortability, because I know it's still something new. Seeing head on, I know in my neighborhood, people ain't never went to restaurants and seen a whole fish with the head on. Nah, they not. They're not eating risotto on a regular night. They want to substitute the risotto for that comes with my scallops. They want to substitute that for mashed potatoes. Man, can I get the mashed? No, you cannot. What if they just want the scallops on the plate? It's the same cost.
Sure.
Right now, people will say, "You don't serve your." I got a miso glazed salmon with a crab fried rice. Oh, you don't sell the crab fried rice by itself? No.
What is the dish you are proudest of?
My Asian garlic noodles. My bronzino, and the sushi on our menu.
Is there a dish that you had on the menu that you're like, I love that dish, and people coming here are just not getting it?
Asian garlic noodles.
They don't understand it?
They don't understand it. It's a sweet and spicy. And the crazy thing about it is the Asian garlic noodles, the same sauce that you start your base with for the Asian garlic noodles is the same sauce as an appetizer I have, the crispy Asian shrimp. That's our #1 seller.
So the flavor profile is the same?
Sweet and spicy.
It's the same.
Same, but same with noodles and crab and parm.
But they like it here and not here.
But they like it in shrimp with glazed form rather than pasta soupy form. And if I'm going home at the end of the night, make me an Asian garlic noodle. Every night, you can count on it. It's one of my favorite things to eat, but you got to be able to also explain that to the guests as well, and what you're about to bite into.
Explain what it is.
But tonight, if you want a suggestion or you're asking for the suggestion of the Asian garlic noodles, it's a sweet and spicy bite to it. It's smooth, it's velvety because of the parms that we shave over top and the truffle cheese that we have on it. But you'll get a hint of sesame and the toasted sesame seeds that you'll get, and you'll get the back end of the sesame oil that you taste. And you'll also taste the green onions and the carrots that we have mixed into it, along with the snow crab that we freshly pick from the back every single day that comes in fresh off a truck. Explaining it to a guest like that, you now got a different direction on, man, I'm just thinking that I'm getting a garlic pasta.
Yeah.
Where most of the time it's white wine, garlic, and butter. Yeah. So you think you're going that flavor profile when you're really going like a sweet and spicy and smoky flavor. And food is great when you can present it. I love going to restaurants that literally I walk into the restaurant and immediately they paint the picture to me of what the restaurant is.
It's got to look great when you drop the plate.
It got to look great, but you also got to make me comfortable with eating something I've never ate before. I got to be that comfortable. The server, and that's what I strive for.
That's hard for me as a diner. to go to a restaurant, especially if I must spend a good coin and order something I have never had before. I have no idea what if I don't like it, and I paid $40 or whatever, and I don't even fucking like it. I understand. You did your thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you.
It's just not something that you've had before, or you're willing to take a risk and try.
Yeah, I'm just not. I just don't like it, and I'm not gonna send it back. I'm gonna understand that's on you. But then I'm like, don't order something that you don't know what it's gonna be.
Have you been to a restaurant that from the minute you walked into the restaurant, the story of the restaurant was told to you?
Oh, for sure.
In that,
I mean, not every, but some places for sure.
As far as host walking you to the table, server coming in and tell you why we got flowers in the ceiling, why we got a textured wall that feels like, why does the chef like gorillas? Oh, because there's a lot of gorillas in here. His logo is a gorilla. Oh no, that's chef's favorite animal, and black and gold is his favorite colors. And the wall for the chef table is a textured black wall because that represents gorilla skin, and the flowers in the back represent the jungle that the gorilla comes out of. That's why my logo was in the middle of it. And flowers in the ceiling because this is a Beauty and the Beast themed restaurant where it's masculine enough for a man and still gentle enough for a woman to come down. And we have this crazy old fashioned that we call a new fashion now, and it's smoked off and it's finished off with high barrel reposado that we've partnered with Don Julio and created this fantastic old fashioned. Are you into old fashions?
Yes.
Oh, you're into old fashions? I really recommend this. Even if you never had an old fashioned with tequila.
See, I'll take a chance on a drink.
Okay, so what do you? So now we're skimming through the menu. There's a lot of options right here on the menu. But what are you interested in tonight? Where's your mind taking you? What do you feel like eating?
See, I don't usually approach eating like that.
But
I don't walk.
A server's supposed to approach it to you.
No, I understand. But that question, and I understand that question works for a lot of human beings.
Right.
The question doesn't work for me.
So you could go to a restaurant right now and not feel like, damn, I had steak last night. I'm gonna stay away from steak. I'm probably gonna go seafood tonight, or I'll probably go.
No, I don't approach eating like that.
Damn. So how would you approach it?
I would eat whatever
you're comfortable with.
I think I want that day. What do we? I mean, I could have steak 2 days in a row. I could have pasta 3 times in a row, like lunch, dinner, or roasted chicken 3 times.
What are your hates?
What do I hate? A lot of things. I'm terrible. I'm really bad. I'm like a child with my eating. Pretty much anything green.
Anything green.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't really eat fish. It's become a little embarrassing. My palate.
Is a reason why? Or you just felt like you haven't had anything to wow you?
I'm just not an adventurous eater. I like a few things. I eat those, and sometimes I push myself to try, and sometimes I'm like, I tried it.
That's interesting because starting off my culinary career cooking for athletes, that's what I got. I got $50 million contracts eating tilapia. and man, I don't want sea bass. Bro, just, hey, listen, do me a favor. Try it. Man, I've been eating, and I can't make you tilapia. And when I come across this, it's always a pleasure for me to come outside. It's a pleasure for me to come outside. And in an instance like that, because I'm so eager to give an experience, I hear what you want, but I still send you other things to have.
And I'd taste it. I would love to come to your restaurant, but I would also bristle at, well, I like the sound of that, but not that. No substitutions?
No.
Okay, well, I'm not going to get that because I don't like that. I'm not going to get that. So, be the worst.
No, we get it every day, but we also hope that we get guests to understand that we're putting this together the best way we feel like it would eat.
No, I understand.
No, so I get it. You know, guess like mashed potatoes. I got a jalapeno mash on my menu. That
Yo, do you have gravy on your mash?
no gravy. Jalapeno mash. It's an herb jalapeno mash.
African American people expect some gravy with the mash.
They also expect some lobster on the mash too. So I got a lobster mash rather than having a lobster mac and cheese, and I got a crab mac and cheese.
I understand that.
But gravy on the mash, nah, that's really punch a hole in your mash and put your ladle and put your mash in it.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. Just mention it.
You don't even need, but you know, with the creaminess of the mash, you don't even need.
You know what? I love that the depth that we did on your football, and you had a certain posture, a certain vibe, and I could tell how much you love football, but I could tell how much you love this.
It's
you loved that, but you loved the fuck out of this.
I love the fuck out of this because to have the career that I've had in the last 11 years of culinary, I could have wrote the greatest script of God and asked for everything I would ever want to achieve as a chef, and it wouldn't have been this.
Wow.
It wouldn't have been being able to educate people and love doing it and love entertaining and love cooking good food and every day up in the bar as a chef. I wake up every day right now being able to say, you can go on ESPN Plus and Hulu and pull up my show that's never been done before, interviewing athletes, talking about things that my joy out of that specific thing is being able to show people these athletes off their prospective sport. We don't get a chance to see these guys. If they don't talk, then they're assholes. If they do talk, then they talk too much. So you don't never get to see the father that they are, or the guy that's from Compton that literally built 15 basketball courts, because the world feel like if we don't broadcast that on social media, that it ain't happening. So a lot of these athletes go unheard from just either not even having a comfortable space to sit with someone and just talk about things that they normally wouldn't talk about, or just having the comfortability of, damn, I'm about to get a good-ass meal and talk to a real nigga.
I am proud for you that everything has gone so well for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, if you like what you saw today, be sure to check out more Touré Show content right here. Don't forget to click that subscribe button for more Touré Show content every week.